Hi, I'm Mike Miller. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks so much for watching The Other Side. My guest today is an active songwriter who set a goal for himself to write 50 songs this year and was written about in the Dallas Observer, and I'm honored to have Bill Hensley here today. Appreciate you being here.
It's great to be here, Mike. Thanks for having me.
And I've seen you around for years playing in bands, and you had a film writer group too a few years ago.
Yes. Yeah, I've been in Denton for 15 years now.
Really? Yeah.
I want to say. I came up here to go to school and study radio, television, film. Initially, I came up to do broadcasting, baseball broadcasting. I kind of got deterred from that a little bit because there was no baseball team, so I didn't really see that in my future after that because I couldn't get the chops with you know, broadcasting games, doing play-by-play and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I stuck with the program, which I found was a great program. I started focusing on screenwriting. I got behind a camera for the first time, like a real camera, and kind of learned the ropes. And I started the screenwriting group. It was kind of an offset of Texas filmmakers. This is almost 10 years ago.
Were you a member of that also, Texas Filmmakers?
Yes, Texas Filmmakers was started by Josh Butler, who does Thin Line, the Thin Line Film Festival, and he was in a few of my classes, and we became friends. And I'm really proud of all the work Josh does with the Thin Line Fest and with Texas Filmmakers, because Denton is such a terrific creative artist community, and so we have all these different kinds of artists, and to be able to have digital media and film makers having a platform and having a way to showcase things is awesome.
They bring in a lot of films from people from other areas too, I think.
Oh yeah, it's an international film festival. We one year when I was volunteering with Thin Line, we had just boxes of submissions, and they were from all over the globe, from Japan to Iraq, all over Europe, South America. It's really an international festival. And then of course we have local filmmakers and people from Dallas or from Texas and all over the US, and it's really amazing that the outreach that we've had with that organization.
That's true. And Dallas has a filmmakers group as well, don't they?
I believe so.
And a Dallas Film Fest, I think.
Yeah, they do. They showcase things down in like Mockingbird Station, the Angelica.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And things like that. I'm not too involved with a lot of things in Dallas. I go down to events and screenings occasionally, but I'm really a hometown Denton person.
Yeah. Well, Denton has enough going on for sure.
For sure, yeah.
So you started playing guitar when you were pretty young?
Yeah, my dad, he was always a musician, and he was actually the head drum major at Texas A&M in 1967. And we always had a drum set in the house, and I kind of liken it to if you ever watched I Love Lucy, Ricky Ricardo, he had Little Ricky, and Little Ricky was always playing the bongos or the little drum set, and that was me and my brothers. We always had the drum set in the house, and we'd be playing. And then as far as guitar goes, I remember it very clearly. My dad, he was a pilot, and he was out on a trip, and somehow I got this wild hair that I was going to say, I'm going to pick up that guitar. And we had a bunch of guitars, and I never picked up a guitar. And I picked up this Yamaha acoustic guitar and played it with my thumbs because I was in 5th grade. I couldn't even barely hold it, and played a few things. I think one of the first things I learned was I was listening to Nirvana Unplugged. So I was trying to pick out Meat Puppet songs and Nirvana songs from that album. And I also listened to Eric Clapton Unplugged, which was you know, a little bit higher degree of difficulty. But anyway, my dad came home from that trip, and I was nervous because I didn't think I was, you know, supposed to touch the guitar. But he was like, "Oh, this is great," you know. But if you're gonna play, you got to turn it around the right way. You got to set it up properly, and I'm gonna show you how to play chords and everything. And so, he's always fostered that love of music and playing the guitar and the drums.
That's great.
So I don't play the guitar like I play the drums, but it's close. I really bang on the drums. I'm a big fan of rock and roll.
Yeah.
And hitting it hard. And I guess today I'll be playing a few acoustic songs, and I'm more of an electric guitar player, but we'll see how it goes.
What kind of drum set do you have?
Actually, in my house, I have the same drum set that we had all growing up
Really?
in our house.
That's good.
It's a CB. I want to say it's a CB 700. So this drum set is about it must be 40 years old now at this point. We actually bought it from a family member for my older brother, and because he was playing drums and things like that, and so we've had that same drum set. It was a bright yellow drum set. And actually, I remember coming home from high school one day, and my dad he bought all of these like cabinet liners for like drawers and things in the kitchen that look like wood grain.
Yeah.
And he took all the hardware off the drum set and meticulously wrapped the drum set, and it still has that, and it looks like a really cool like wood grain drum set now.
Really?
And it sounds as good as it ever has. But yeah, once I started playing guitar, I kind of drifted away from drums a little bit. I was a percussionist in the middle school band and all throughout middle school and high school, but I had convinced myself that playing guitar and singing was like that was what I preferred to do. So I'd walk into we always called it the drum room, but it was the music room, and I'd walk in there and I'd kind of look at the drum set and look at the guitar, and I'd go pick up the guitar. And of course, playing the acoustic guitar was difficult, but my dad saw how much I was progressing, and he bought me an Ibanez, one of the RG series guitars. I love Ibanez. And he also bought me an RP6 pedal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with a lot of very cool effects, and there was no looking back once I had those things. And what was really cool was my younger brother. He's about 16 months younger than me, Steven. He's a fantastic drummer. He is a really good, natural drummer. He just makes it look effortless. So I always had someone to play drums along with me.
That's good, yeah.
So we would, eventually we got so loud that we moved everything out into the garage. And I'd been forming a few bands in high school, and all my friends would come over and we'd just have parties and play music. And so the garage was like where we naturally moved all the equipment.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we had the garage band, and I was in a few like classic rock bands. You learn your chops, and then we formed a ska band, which was really fun because we were all band nerds, band kids, and we were like, wow, we can get more of our friends involved from band if we added a couple trombones and trumpets and saxophone, and so we were called Skamikaze. But
where did you go to high school?
I went to high school in Kingwood, which is it's like a suburb north of Houston.
Oh,
And it was a great community to grow up in. They call it the livable forest because if you've been to East Texas or Southeast Texas, it's the piney woods. So
really? There's
large pine trees and everything. But yeah,
it's a beautiful area. I love the pine trees.
For sure. We get a lot of rain. It kind of had that. I've been to Seattle a few times, and it doesn't really compare to Seattle with like with the ocean and the temperature. But we had a lot of days where it was dark, overcast days.
Oh,
and even when the sun was out, it's hard to see the sun because of the trees, and we just had that kind of that chill vibe. It rained a lot, being near the coast, and that fostered my love for like a lot of the Seattle grunge bands, Nirvana.
Oh yeah.
The Foo Fighters, which was the inspiration for my original project, Self Construction.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did you play baseball in high school though?
Oh yeah.
That's where you started becoming interested in sports.
We were a music family, and we were a baseball family for sure. I actually worked for the Houston Astros for a few years after high school because I realized there was a new stadium. It was called Enron Field at the time. Now it's called Minute Maid Park. But I realized, you know what? I can't really afford to go to a bunch of baseball games, but maybe if I go work down there,
really,
I could go see all my heroes. And so I started working for the Astros selling beer. I worked on the lowest level. I met some really cool people, a lot of players. Because I've always been that person that kind of, I just go up to people and talk to them, whether they're, you know,
famous or not.
Famous, or if they're doing something interesting, if they're just standing there by themselves, I'll go strike up a conversation. And yeah, it was a really cool place to work. I worked there for 3 years, or 3 seasons, and it's pretty lucrative too.
That's good.
I was surprised.
People buy a lot of beer.
For sure, for sure. It went hand in hand.
Yeah.
With the baseball.
And it's marked up quite a bit, I guess.
Yeah, my first year, the beers were $5.50, and I thought, that's outrageous. But the good thing about that was, I mean, I never sold a beer without getting a tip, which is the strangest thing, because all you do is open the top and hand it to them, and then they hand you the money. So basically, every beer I sold, I made 50 cents in a tip, and if I sold 2 beers at a time, they would hand me $15 and not think twice about it.
Really?
Yeah, so, but it did balance out, because you would work for 7 innings, and then they'd cut the beer sales, and then they would, you know, the team would go out of town for a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it balanced out. And then, of course, the season is 82 games, so you have 82 home games. But a lot of the guys I worked with, they actually, I mean, that was their career, and they worked for the Texans, the football team. We were a division of Aramark, so Aramark was the Texans, the Rockets, the minor league hockey team, the Astros. They were working year round, and it was.
They made a lot of money.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was strictly commission based. It wasn't an hourly deal. So for every beer I sold, I made 75 cents in commission. So with a tip on average, you know, $1.50, $1.25 for every time I handed somebody a beer, was pretty awesome for a kid that's like right out of high school. And
really,
I actually didn't. I got in trouble with my parents because I didn't cash my paychecks, because I had so much cash, and I was just getting these paychecks, and I was like, they were like, these are going to expire if you don't take them to the bank. And I remember having to actually go down to their HR and get some of them retro dated, because I said, oh, I didn't cash these, and they were like, okay, you're a dumb kid. but I didn't know any better. But yeah, the first year they were $5.50. The second year they were $6. So the tips were a little different. And then the last year they were $6.50. Who knows what they are now? They're probably $9 a beer.
Yeah.
But it was, the last year I actually sold some hot dogs too, because they were $3.25. So I thought, well, everybody's going to give me $4. I can make 75 cents for every hot dog I hand over. But it wasn't as good as beer. With the beer, you know, you hear a lot of those guys, they say,
they tip better.
Well, the vendors, they say, cold beer, you know, you don't want to project. You really don't even have to say anything. You can just walk down the row and walk back up, and you will sell all your beers and go get another tray. With hot dogs, it's a little different. You had to, hot dogs, and, you know, get people's attention. Somebody might be like, you know what, I am going to take a chance on a ballpark hot dog today, and go grab one. But, so.
Well, when you were going to UNT, majoring in RTVF, did you form some bands during those years?
I was in a few bands, I was in one that was kind of a post-emo, kind of an emo band, and I played guitar and bass a little bit, and it was not a very serious project. Yeah. I wasn't very passionate about it. There were some of my friends, and we actually practiced in Fort Worth, which was kind of a beating.
Oh, yeah.
So, but mostly I got involved with the playing acoustic. That's when I really started to dedicate myself to kind of doing a singer-songwriter kind of idea. And so I would play open mic nights at Brick House, which became Banter.
Yeah.
I would play like They Might Be Giants songs on the acoustic guitar, and I like Cake, the band Cake. I really like John McCrae's voice, and just the flow of those songs. They really lend themselves to being like a solo acoustic song. Mm-hmm. So, I would try to take grunge songs or punk songs and make them acoustic as best I could. I even played a banjo-guitar for a while.
Really?
A 6-string banjo, and this was all before You know, what is it, the Murphy and Sons, or what is their name? There was a band that kind of became this banjo band, and
Really?
I'm like, oh, I was doing banjo before that. But of course, you know, Steve Martin, he was doing banjo, and banjo's been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
But I saw everybody was playing guitar, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna try to play this instrument, and it was fun. It was okay. It was strung like a guitar. It sounded like a banjo.
Yeah. And when did you really start writing songs, lyrics?
I've always kind of been writing
Inclined that way?
lyrics and stuff on notebooks, and then, as you mentioned, the 52 Songs project. It was a secret project. I was I did the first album, which I'm not officially counting for the project because I wrote those songs last year. They were released in January, and the album's called Self-Construction, and I was doing it under this alias of a band called Wire Rims. And because I figured, oh, if I'm a band called Wire Rims, maybe people will take it more seriously than calling like the Billy Hensley Experience or something like that. So I've actually had 4 different songs on the Eagle.
That's great.
And on their Loud and Local. They've been very supportive, and I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from the music.
You have to have good material to get it played on the Eagle, for sure.
They're a rock station.
Yeah.
And but after I finished the album, I thought, you know what? I've got this distribution deal where I can do as many songs as I want this year. So I thought, I'm going to do 52 songs in 52 weeks.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And right now I'm in the thick of it. I've got a ways to go. We're about halfway, a little more than halfway through the year. But I've got an album that's a punk album in the style of the Descendants, my favorite punk band. And they're all original songs, but they're in the style of the Descendants. And then following that is a Fat Records album, which is my favorite punk label, Fat Records.
Really?
And so I'm doing songs in the style of the Fat Records in that vein.
I look forward to hearing what you're doing. What songs are you doing today?
Today I'm going to do some songs off of Self-Construction.
Okay.
And this will be like almost my first time to play them by myself, because if you listen to the album, and you can find the album on iTunes, Spotify, every digital distribution streaming service. You can listen to all the songs, but it's a rock album, and I play the drums and the bass and the guitars, and I made it look like a full band. And then of course the Dallas Observer, about 3 weeks or a month or so ago, they wrote an article about me and my project, and they kind of pulled back the curtain and showed everybody that it's just me, but I liked kind of that, you know, facade of being a band. I do eventually want to form a band and play the songs live. I don't have time this year, really, but...
Well, I appreciate you coming down to the studio, and I'm going to get out of the way and let you play some music for us. And
great.
You guys stay tuned and check out Billy Hensley's songs, and check out that article in the Dallas Observer, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.
All right, I want to thank Mike Miller for having me. This is really, really special. This is going to be a debut of one of the songs from my record, Self-Construction, and this is the first song that I had on 97.1 The Eagle, their Loud and Local show. It's called Your Majesty, and it's a full rock song. It's kind of inspired by Tool and Soundgarden, but I'm going to do my best to make it work acoustically. This is Your Majesty. When they lock the doors, are you in or out? When they lock the doors, are you in or out? Hey, Your Majesty, where's your crown? Where's your crown now? Hey, Your Highness, is the rain coming down? Is the rain coming down?
their necks and watch them dance. People trying to make sense of all of this mess, of all of this. Hey, your majesty, where's your crown? Where's your crown now? Hey, your highness, is the rain coming down? Is the rain coming? Hey, your rain's on the guillotine, yeah. Your rain's on the guillotine, hey. Your rain's on the guillotine, yeah. Your rain is coming down. Hey, your majesty, where's your crown? Where's your crown now? Hey, your highness, is the rain coming down? Is the rain coming down?
Thank you. All right, this one is it's called "They Left Town." It's on the album Self Construction, and it started as an acoustic song, so I figured it would work a little better here, this venue. It's called "They Left Town," and it kind of asks some questions about coming to a new place, going to a new world.
They left town with no one watching, to take a chance on something new. They couldn't stand the big commotion. It's just what they had to do. Some take all, and some take a little bit. Some take none, and some take most of it. Breaking down, you break just a little bit. Shake it off, you'll make the best of this. They sat down with no one watching, searching for another clue. They had to set some things in motion, try to find the point of view. Some take all, and some take a little bit. Some take none, and some take most of it. Breaking down, you break just a little bit. Shake it off, you'll make the best of this. They left town with no one watching, tracing lines around the proof. We couldn't stand our own reflection. You can't hide from the truth.
Okay, I'm gonna do one last song. This is like probably the second song I wrote for the album, and it's called Take a Swing. It was very much inspired by like Mark Lanigan, who was the inspiration for Nirvana Unplugged. So it has kind of this acoustic vibe to it. Also some Pearl Jam influences, and it's a cool song with a cool riff, but I'm just going to play the chords. So if you want to hear the full song, listen to Self-Construction. This is called Take a Swing.
Take a swing. It's the last you'll get. Stay with me. I'm your safest bet. All is swept beneath the rug, lying on the dirty floor. Those who can tell themselves nothing lasts and never will. Take a swing. This is not the end. Come with me. We'll face alone again. All is swept beneath the rug, lying on the dirty floor. Those who can tell themselves nothing lasts and never will. Safest bet. I'm your safest bet. I'm your safest bet.
Follow your dreams, and they say, do what you want, and money will come.